Hello everyone! Welcome to a different kind of ranking video. Today I'm covering a movie director, specifically Hayao Miyazaki. In my opinion, one of the greatest animators of all time. In the 1980s, him and his friend Isao Takahata founded Studio Ghibli. Ghibli? I don't know. Anyway, since then he's produced 11 feature films for the studio, and I'm gonna be ranking them today. Also, I've heard Ghibli is a bitch with copyright, so I'm just gonna use pictures for the visuals. And one more thing, since I know I'm gonna upset a lot of people in this video, it's only my opinion, okay? Alright, let's just get into it.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor.
Okay, before you guys get mad, I still like My Neighbor Totoro, but it really isn't anything that great. I appreciate what it was going for. It's pretty laid back and wholesome, but it's also, kinda boring, unfortunately. For being the namesake of the movie, Totoro is barely in the damn thing, and I wish they would have focused more on the magical creatures of the forest. They only showed, like 3 of them, and when they're not the focus, I'm just waiting around for shit to happen. But let's get to what I did like. I do enjoy the fact that it's a relaxing slice of life story. It's very cute and fun to vibe with, plus it does a good job capturing that childlike wonder, which Miyazaki is always great with. So yeah, it's an alright film, just has a lot of flaws and could be much better.
Built my castle in your hands.
Castle in the Sky is a weird one because while I don't love it, there's nothing exactly wrong with it either. I do have some complaints, but they're nothing too bad. Anyway, Castle in the Sky is your average adventurous Ghibli movie about a hidden mystical place. I liked it for what it was, and when Cheetah and Patu arrived at Laputa, it was so magical and fulfilling. That scene was definitely a highlight of the film for me. Also, the pirate gang was fun, and I felt a sense of comforting peace anytime one of these robot dudes were on screen. Though, with that being said, there is a few issues. Like, the villain had a really cool backstory with lots of potential. He just doesn't get a lot of time to shine in the story. And same for the pirates, honestly. In the last act, they kind of just stopped being a part of the movie, even though finding Laputa was like their whole motive for that part. I do like Cheetah and Patu's relationship, though. It's really sweet and wholesome. But I will say the dub of the film is kinda questionable. For example, Pazzu is a young boy, but he sounds like a 40-year-old man, and Cheetah will randomly switch from an American accent to, like, British or Australian, sometimes within the same sentence. Like, how hard is it to keep your accent consistent? Anyway, overall, Castle in the Sky is just a standard likable movie that you can't really hate. 6.5 out of 10, would recommend it if you're bored one day. Now moving forward, things are about to get really good.
When does a man become a monster?
Okay, maybe I lied a bit, but Porco Rosso is still pretty good. It's got a really unique vibe compared to most Ghibli films. It's not supernatural or magical, okay, well, except for the fact that this guy is a pig. But it's also not a slice-of-life movie either. It's sort of a middle-of-the-road grounded movie. Plot's pretty simple. Pigman teams up with a teen girl to build a plane and face off against an evil guy. Though the characters matter more than the plot here, and they're great characters at that. My favorite is definitely Theo. She gets shit done, is super fun and likable, stands up for herself, and I love how capable she is, proving herself to both Porco and her family. Also, this is a really strong voice cast, well, at least in the dub anyway. Oh wow, I really did say that. I didn't think that was in the script. I mean, you've got Michael Keaton, D. Bradley Baker, along with Bill Fagerbakke and Tom Kenny, aka SpongeBob and Patrick. The voice acting in general is really well done here, though I do wish Gina got more screen time. I think her relationship with Porco could have been expanded into something more interesting. The main message of this movie is self-loathing, in my opinion. Porco is a former war pilot who's killed people, so as a result he kinda hates himself, constantly referring to himself as a pig, and acknowledging that he's sort of a piece of shit. So the curse turned him into a literal pig as an outward sign of his self-hatred. That's probably as deep as the film gets, but overall, Porco Rosso is a decently enjoyable film, and tonally a noticeable standout in the Miyazaki lineup.
I am one with the wind and sky.
Alright, now Nausicaa's where it's at. Also the first Ghibli movie ever made, kind of. Nausicaa is really good, and in my opinion, kind of underrated. Its themes of environmentalism are handled wonderfully. Nausicaa herself is a really compelling protagonist. I love the scenery, and the soundtrack is especially great. Also, I just love how grand it all feels. Nausicaa traveling the world, helping these big-ass bug things, and stopping a stampede of them from destroying her hometown. I do feel like the pacing is a bit wonky, though. Like, for a 2-hour movie, I feel like it could have been a bit longer. I mean, hell, the climax of the movie, in which the protagonist fucking dies, happens with 9 minutes left in the film! But yeah, Nausicaa's a great movie, worth checking out, and leaves you with a bit more appreciation for nature.
That must be Lord Farquaad's castle.
That's the place.
I don't have too much to say about Howl's Moving Castle, it's just very charming. All the characters are so fun and interesting. Howl is the overly emotional drama queen, Sophie's the teen maturing into an adult trying to find herself, and Calcifer is just fed up with everyone. He's honestly my favorite character. I really like how lived in the world feels. Like all the different factions and locations, it feels very lively. Also, Sophie's curse becoming an outward representation of her confidence is something I thought was done very well. When she's doubting herself, she's old, and when she believes in herself more, she's young. But in general, this group of misfits Sophie finds herself in is really heartwarming. She goes from alone and doubting herself to being full of self-love with a lover of her own. Gosh, I love the found family trope! Okay, that was stupid. Also, the war side plot was interesting, but it never gets too much focus and kinda just ends randomly, which is probably the only complaint I have. So yeah, Howl's Moving Castle is a pretty fun time. I don't have a deep or intellectual take on this movie, I just really like it, and that's about it.
Time to deliver a pizza ball!
Alright, Kiki's Delivery Service. Another classic, and for good reason. I love how cute and laid back the world feels. It's got a very relatable story, especially for me personally. It's about Kiki losing her interest in flying because she tried to make it her job. And that's a big fear I have. Animation is one of my favorite hobbies to do, but if I have to do it on other people's time, I don't know, what if I don't like it as much anymore? Either way, Kiki's Delivery Service is great. Kiki herself is really strong-willed and determined, which I like about her. She gives it her all and pushes through no matter what. Gigi's also plenty of fun. He lights up all the scenes he's in. Ursula is probably my favorite, though. I like how she's the one to give Kiki some wisdom when her self-esteem is particularly low. Makes her feel like a nice mentor character, I guess. The only one I didn't really like was Tomba. He's kinda just there. And the whole blimp crash climax was sort of unnecessary to me. Overall, though, Kiki's Delivery Service is a great movie, full of fun and relaxing vibes, and you're sure in for a good time if you decide to watch it.
Were you killed? Sadly, yes. But I lived.
Okay. Here we have Miyazaki's latest entry, The Boy and the Heron, also known as How Do You Live? As much as I love this movie, I don't really understand it. I do get that it's about moving on from people you've lost, and that you gotta continue your own life while you still have it. But the way this magical time-bending world our protagonist finds himself in works is kinda not really explained. And obviously I don't want it spoon-fed to me, but I feel like they could have done a better job showing how it operates. But now let's talk about the tone. This is much more mature than Miyazaki's usual movie. It's not very whimsical or magical. I mean, it is magical, but you can tell it takes itself serious. This isn't a fun adventure. Mahito is recovering from grief and trying to find himself, accepting his past and moving on to the future, which I think is executed very well. Also, the world building is great. This mysterious world feels very lived in, with several creative locations, like the caves, the Parakeet Kingdom, and where the Wada Wada live. Speaking of which, the Wada Wada have to be some of the cutest creatures in all of Ghibli. Also, the younger version of Mahito's mother has the same voice actor as Glimmer from She-Ra, which I thought was pretty cool. Anyway, The Boy and the Heron is a wonderful immersive movie, and I highly recommend it. Get a job! Spirited Away is something else, man. Seriously, the world building, I really gotta stop mentioning that, and scenery is unlike any other Ghibli film. Every scene of this movie is gorgeous. The flowers, the baby's room, the river, the train, all of it is a feast for the eyes. And the main character's growth is astonishing. After being thrust into this brand new world, you can really feel how she struggles at first and slowly adapts, maturing into a confident young woman along the way. It's also got plenty of funny moments. The frog people in Lynn are a joy to see, and this is probably the most immersive, another word I use a lot, Ghibli movie. Chihiro breaks down in tears as the weight of her reality finally bears down on her. The arrival of the spirits by boats, the train scene, giving us a chance to soak in the various locations of the world. The city is absolutely sprawling at night. The food in the beginning looks absolutely delicious. Probably looks that way because all the animators had to eat was ramen. This movie just lives and breathes in every scene. It's a work of art in every sense of the word. Also, back to the train scene, it does what many movies never dare to do. It just breathes. It takes its time. Does what Chihiro is doing at that moment. Lets you take a break from all the insanity going on and just live for a little bit. It's not quite my favorite Miyazaki movie, but I can definitely understand why it is for so many people. And even though I don't love it as much as most, I still tear up during the scene where Chihiro frees Haku. The two falling through the sky while Chihiro learns who he really is as the music swells around them just really gets me. The impact this had on animation as a whole is hard to deny. Plus, this was the film that started to get Ghibli spread to the West. It definitely deserved its Best Animated Feature Oscar. Same thing applies to the next movie. Speaking of which,
We're breaking
We're
free.
The Wind Rises is peak. Fun fact, I watched the first half of this dubbed and the other half subbed. Doesn't change my opinion in any way, I just thought I'd bring it up. I've got a lot on my mind with this one, both for its message and in general. This was intended to be Miyazaki's last movie. Like, actually, he was supposed to be done after this. So, what is the film about? In my opinion, it's about the sacrifices of being an artist. Pursuing your dreams while at the same time losing your grip on the real world. Jiro, in a way, is Miyazaki, or at least it's meant to reflect his own struggles. Jiro constantly working on planes kept him from being a good husband, and Miyazaki constantly working on films kept him from being both a good husband and a good father. And this film is his way of coming to terms with the fact that he hasn't been the best to people he cares about. And I gotta say, as an artist, I really appreciate the story and message this film depicts. It's about regret, loss, losing yourself. This is also Miyazaki's most real movie. It's not about some magical world or strange creatures, just real people trying to navigate through the world. And it's honestly, in my opinion, Miyazaki's best written movie, too. The character work and dialogue is so rich and engaging. It's not grand or in your face about anything. It just breathes and lets you experience a very human story. Also, it's simply beautiful, man. The sky, the towns, especially the plains. It's one of his most visually appealing movies. Being a quote-unquote newer Ghibli movie, the animation is also gorgeous, even by Ghibli standards. One scene, Jiro was singing along with some other gentlemen, and the characters had actual accurate lip syncing. Gotta say, my brain almost exploded when watching that. I couldn't fathom it. Also, one sort of big issue I have is with Jiro himself. I find it hard to empathize with him. He's supposed to be emotionally closed off, but ultimately well-meaning, deeply regretting that he chose work over his dying wife. But he never shows that regret. And honestly, he doesn't seem to care about Nahuko that much at all. Like, you can tell he loves her, but he doesn't do much to prove that. Even when it's clear she's getting sicker and doesn't have much longer, he still chooses to continue working instead of being there to comfort her. I don't know, I just felt a pretty big disconnect from him and found it hard to root for him. But that doesn't detract from the fact that this is an amazing, reflective, introspective marvel of a film, and I'm so glad we have it. Jiro is voiced by Hideaki Anno?
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi?
Alright, we're entering the legendary movies now. I honestly consider Princess Mononoke to be Miyazaki's best film. Not my favorite, but objectively his strongest movie. A full-blown war going on, with a young warrior caught up in a conflict between humanity and the gods of nature. All of this coming together in an exhilarating mega-climax, where a god is killed, turning him into a super god, spilling out goo that kills anyone who touches it. This is also Miyazaki's most mature and serious movie. Themes of war, hatred, destruction, preserving nature. And you know what? When you think about it, Princess Mononoke is just Nausicaa, but better in every way. A movie about protecting the environment while showcasing a massive war between humanity and godlike creatures. Anyway, the characters are pretty compelling here. Ashitaka is a great mediator between both sides. Calm, empathetic, and trying to reach middle ground between both of them. And Lady Eboshi might be the single best Ghibli antagonist. She might be in the wrong, but she's not entirely evil either. She's still very human, managing Irontown and giving the women there a second chance at life, which gives her a soft side for the viewers. The Wolf Goddess is also pretty interesting. But on that note, I think San could have been handled better. I love her loyalty to the forest and independence, but she doesn't listen to giving humanity a chance and acts like they're solely responsible for everything. She even says Ashitaka is important to her, but still pushes him away, saying that she hates humans. Even if we had just been shown hints of her warming up to people and staying with Ashitaka, I think San's arc in development would have meant a whole lot more. But anyway, this movie is a masterpiece. Never before or since has Miyazaki accomplished what he did here. An absolute marvel of animation and cinema in general. I truly consider Princess Mononoke to be the best film Miyazaki has ever made, and one of only 2 movies on this list I'd give a 10 out of 10 score to. By the way, I'm so glad I got to watch this in theaters when it was re-released. Anyway, there is still one more movie of his that personally means even more to me. Well, you might be wondering, what movie of Miyazaki's did I personally like the most? If you've been paying attention, then you'd know. That movie would be none other than Ponyo! And where do I even begin? From the first 5 minutes, Ponyo just won me over instantly. I love it. My friends love it. My whole family loves it. I'm even going to be writing a speech about it for school. It's an absolute delight of a film. And yeah, like I said earlier, Princess Mononoke and The Wind Rises are objectively better, but this one is definitely my favorite. And I'll try to explain why that is. For starters, I just really love the visuals. Ghibli is known for their amazing animation and scenery, but in this movie, it's just cranked up to 11. The opening jellyfish, the flowing waves, the background mountains, the water looking so crystal clear and beautiful. Just all of it. Fun fact, Miyazaki animated most of the ocean life all by himself, and I'm glad he did, because I don't think anyone else could have pulled it off the way he did. Now let's get to the movie itself. It's just a perfect movie to represent childlike wonder. Just 2 kids on an adventure, trying to figure out the world around them. And in general, it's such a comfort film for me. All of it is so relaxing, doing an excellent job showcasing all the little moments you might remember from childhood. Eating food with your best friend, comforting your mom when she's upset, talking with all the adults around the neighborhood, the little things that make the movie's world feel a lot more lived in. Now, let's talk about the characters. Even besides my biases for this movie, I think the characters are some of the best in all of Ghibli. Lisa's a perfect example of the chaotic, hot-headed mom who tries her best. The elders are always fun, especially Toki. We all know someone like her, who is outwardly very stubborn, but secretly has a heart of gold. I also love how they didn't make Fujimoto a villain. He's just a stressed, overprotective dad, and you can tell where he's coming from, which, in my opinion, makes him a lot more likable. Ponyo's mom is also very calming to watch. The way she moves, the energy that radiates off of her, the way she talks. I don't know, I just feel peaceful when she's on screen. Her whole vibe and aura is incredibly comforting. Also, apparently her name was Granamare. That name never shows up in the movie. I only found it out by looking it up. And last but not least, it's just so cute! The opening with Ponyo as a fish and Sosuke taking care of her is adorable. Every time she yells,
Ham! Ham! I want ham!
she steals the show. And honestly, everything she does is just so effortlessly adorable. From helping a woman with her baby, to the little flip she does in the bucket, and when she says,
I found Sosuke!
and her sisters cheer, it fills me with pure joy every time. Ponyo and Sosuke's relationship is always a pleasure to see, and this movie just warms my heart and makes me feel cozy in a way very few movies ever do. In fact, when I was playing Super Mario Sunshine and died for like the 20th time on the lily pad level, I was nearly in tears from rage. So, I made myself some ramen and turned on Ponyo. And just like magic, all my stress melted away. This movie can calm me down from anything. If any Ghibli movie deserves a sequel, it's this. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a call. Hello? Oh. Okay. Turns out it was gonna have a sequel, but that was scrapped in favor of The Wind Rises. Anyway, yeah, not only my favorite Ghibli movie, but one of my favorite movies of all time. I know this review is a bit disjointed and repetitive, but it's honestly hard to explain why something is your favorite. And in fact, nothing I ever say about this movie could truly explain what it means to me. I love it with all my heart, and I don't think I'll ever stop. Everyone watching this, give Ponyo a chance. It would mean the world to me if more people saw it and fell in love with it the way I did. You know, I have pretty bad thalassophobia, yet my favorite Ghibli movie is the one about the ocean. That's kind of funny, ain't it?
Ponyo, 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 fishy in the sea.
Wow, okay, that was a pretty interesting video, huh? Miyazaki is truly an excellent filmmaker and animator. Also, aside from Kiki's Delivery Service, which I watched in 2023, this is my first time watching all of these movies. And on that note, I was not expecting to love Ponyo nearly as much as I did. I hope my thoughts didn't upset any of you too much. At the end of the day, it's just a silly high schooler's opinion on fun animated movies, so not that deep. I also hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry the editing was kinda lazy, but again, Ghibli is rather strict on copyright, so unfortunately I had to make it a slideshow. New videos coming soon. See you guys next time.